from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
From stories around the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast coming to you live from the Rupavahini studios. Bringing your stories for today, I'm Shram Masquinius.
Good evening, I'm Clifford Richards. First of all, we take a look at the headlines.
Hindu devotees celebrate Deepali with grandeur. Sri Lanka cricket captain apologizes for the defeat. The budget 2024 to be presented tomorrow. A minor tremor in Trincomalee. The Israeli army rejects accusations of attacking the Al-Shifa hospital.
Let me take a look at local news now. Today marks the main festival of the Hindu devotees, the Deepali. Hindu devotees around the world are engaged in special offerings and rituals on this day. The main factor attributed to the Deepavali festival appears to be the commemoration of the death of Asura Nagasura. More importantly, Hindu devotees believe that the special pujas being conducted on this sacred day usher a new lease of life to the believers. The Deepavali day is also regarded as a day God Vishnu brought life to his own self, lighting of lamps in a tradition of the Deepavali commemoration. Hindu devotees also beautify their homes and attend pujas to venerate the main deities Shiva, Vishnu and Gana at the kovils. Another main ritual is the partaking of meals. Hindu devotees who engage in a fast for 21 days calls off this abstinence on the day before the Deepavali. The fasting period is known as Kedara Gauri.
දීපාවලි දිනට පෙර දින 21ක් උපවාසයේ යෙදී සිට හින්දු භක්තිකයන් එය අත්හරිනු ලබනවා. එම උපවාස කාලයේ හැඳින්වෙන්නේ හේදාර ගෞරී යනුවෙන්.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe has presided over a special Deepawali commemoration ceremony at the President's office today. Well, this event, organized by the President's office, was conducted in an extremely simple and charming manner, giving prominence to Hindu customs. The President upon arrival was greeted according to the Hindu tradition, and all devotees have extended Deepawali best wishes to the President. Minister Douglas Devananda, Eastern Province Governor Sendil Tondaman, former parliamentarian R. Yogaraja and President Secretary Soman Ekanayake have also raised this occasion.
Mahela Jayawardene,
President Ranil Wickremesinghe delivering a message in connection with the Deepavali Day wishes that this year's Deepavali celebrations would become a blessing for the enhancement of peace, reconciliation and eternal of coexistence among ethnic groups. The President in his message has further pointed out that Sri Lanka as a country has faced an extremely dark period in its history. However, the country is gradually turning towards a path of development filled with light, dispelling darkness. The President also extends best wishes that the upcoming period would pave the way for the path of prosperity. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardene in his Deepavali messages says the Hindus throughout the world commemorate Deepavali with the extreme devotion by lighting lamps. The Prime Minister also requests all to dedicate themselves to make the Deepavali meaningful event by dispelling all types of differences and fight against evil and ignorance. Opposition leader Sajit Premadasa in his message extends his wishes that the dawn of the Deepavali would enable all to tread on the correct path towards a brighter future. With much talk, Kusal Mendis, as the captain of the Sri Lanka team, apologizes to the spectators for the defeat of his team at the one-day World Cup cricket tournament.
And meanwhile, consultant coach Mahela Jayawardene says that they knew once they saw the Indian pitchers that they had to play with high tempo, according to him. And he further says that the pitchers were not very friendly to the Sri Lankan players as well. And this was at a special briefing, media briefing at the Sri Lanka Cricket this morning. He also responded to the charges levelled against the team.
We knew that when we went to India, when we saw the wickets, how they were behaving, that we had to play at a very high tempo, which we discussed with the batsmen, something that they were not used to, particularly leading up to the World Cup, because the surfaces we were playing did not allow us to do that, and most of the surfaces that we play in Sri Lanka, because it's a question of us understanding what our skill set is, how are we going to win our strengths. Domestic cricket is being played on slowish wickets, so the batsman will not trust their shot selection on good wickets because they're not used to that. So it was a challenge against the high quality bowling units in the World Cup. So this was a discussion, and we gave them the freedom to go out and play that high tempo. I thought the first two games they executed really well. Unfortunately, for me, the biggest game for us, momentum-wise, was the Pakistan game, where we got 340 and we could not defend that. I think if we were able to defend that, things probably would have been much different with the confidence in a tournament like that. Yes, we had a bowling unit that we planned building up to, but unfortunately we couldn't take those 5 bowlers. Unfortunately, those 5 bowlers hadn't played for us together in one single tournament for 16 months. And these are learnings. I mean, how do we keep our best players on the park? That's something that individually as players they need to be much more disciplined in their fitness and how they go about doing that. As a unit with skill set, they know that where they are. I think somebody started saying that there's a lot of expectations. I think we have to be realistic about our expectations. Going into this World Cup, we played the qualifiers to get to the World Cup. We knew we were the 2 bottom teams in that pile. And that showed in our performances throughout 2 years. We played, I think, 35 games in the last 16 months, ODI cricket. We have a very good record. Being 20% win percentage, we were up to more than 50. We won 25 games, lost 13 games. That was our record. So we are heading in the right direction. But at the same time, as skill-wise, compared to other teams, we need to improve.
I think, yes, you've hit a couple of things, hit the nail on the head with a few things there. From a batting perspective, we have to learn to put big scores on the board. If we look, we need to convert more. If we get good starts, we need to convert more of those starts into big hundreds, like we've seen various people do throughout this tournament on the other sides. We need to create big partnerships that will then allow us to go on to score those big scores. And that's all part of our learning as a group. And certainly something we have to work on. I think from a bowling perspective, in the power play, certainly Dilly was a shining light there for us. I'd like to highlight him there with a new ball. But there are still, again, learnings for us. There's consistency with building pressure at both ends. The ability to take wickets in the middle phase, which will then help us at the death. And obviously just building on skills. So in general, we need to build on the skill set and the ability to build pressure through those 50 overs. And then from a fielding perspective, we need to obviously hold on to more chances. Now, I think had we held chances, things would have looked slightly different during this tournament. But what I would like to say is that no one means to drop catches, and it's not for the lack of hard work. Speaking for myself, I think, obviously, I'm disappointed with how things have gone, having worked so hard with these players and the players having worked so hard to come through the qualifiers to get to where we are. We all want to put our best foot forward. The players have worked extremely hard to do that on the things that we've spoken about, but yet we have to accept there is still much work to be done.
Now in other stories, the budget for the year 2024 will be presented in Parliament tomorrow. It will be the 78th budget to be tabled in the chamber. It will also become the second budget to be presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe in his capacity as the Minister of Finance. The national television will bring a live telecast of the proceedings starting at 12 noon. Debate of the second reading of the budget is scheduled to commence on Tuesday. A vote on the second reading will take place on the 21st of this month. The third reading or the committee stage debate is scheduled to commence on the 22nd, and the final vote is expected to be conducted in the evening on the 13th of next month. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has presided over the final stage discussion on the preparation and presentation of the budget at the President's official residence this morning. The meeting was attended by the State Ministers Ranjit Siambalapitiya and Shayan Semasinghe, Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka, President Secretary Samaneka Naika, Senior Presidential Advisor on Economic Affairs RHS Samarathunga, Presidential Advisor Samanatha Udahitti, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance Mahinda Siriwardena, Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Presidential Media Director General Danushka Ramanayaka and Senior Assistant Secretary of the President Madhu Shankar Dissanayaka attended the meeting. Meanwhile, State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya has expressed opinions to the media on the budget to be presented tomorrow. The State Minister says the President is of the view that they must give prominence to a long-term, stable and sustainable economic program rather than achieving short-term popularity. The State Minister also pointed out that the budget 2024 is to be presented amidst many challenges. He has identified the upcoming budget as the beginning of a long-term program to provide solutions instead of resolving short-term issues.
We're now going to take a look at several views shared by politicians over the budget 2024. Parliamentarian Tissa Attanayake says that a confidence will have to be built that the people have to live without a burden. He added that, however, he was not sure whether such a confidence could be built through this upcoming budget 2024. Parliamentarian SP Dissanayake says that an issue of crucial importance is to enhance local and foreign incomes. And moving on with the other expressions, Parliamentarian Harini Amarasuriya says that the budget reveals an IMF agreement. She added that therefore she does not believe that it would provide solutions. And moving on with other expressions that were expressed, Saman Ratnapriya says that Sri Lanka has not been able to come out of the total bankruptcy. Well, observance of the Forces Remembrance Day 2023 was held yesterday.
The ceremony, which was presided over by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, was held in front of the Ranaviru Memorial at the Viharamadevi Park. The significant event, hosted annually by the Sri Lanka Ex-Services Association in collaboration with the Armed Services, pays tribute to the valiant soldiers who bravely sacrificed their lives for the nation's security from the First World War to the present day. The ceremony was also marked the celebration of centenary since the construction of the Centenary at Viharamadevi Park, Colombo. A moment of silence was observed to honour the martyred war heroes and the President, along with representatives of the Ex-Servicemen's Association, as they laid floral tributes at the War Memorial. President Ranil Wickremesinghe also unveiled a special centenary commemorative plaque of the War Heroes Memorial. During the ceremony, the State Minister Shanta Bandara and Postmaster General Ruan Satkumar presented the President with a special commemorative stamp and first day cover released on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of the centenary. President of the Ex-Servicemen's Association, Major General Upul Pereira, presented the book titled War Memorials in Sri Lanka, compiled by retired Navy officer K. Nihal. The ceremony was attended by various dignitaries, including State Defence Minister Pramita Bandara Thennakoon, Presidential Senior Advisor on National Security and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka, Western Province Governor Marshal of the Air Force Air Marshal Roshan Gunathilaka, Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne, Chief of Defence Staff General Shavindra Silva, and the commanders of the Tri-Forces were also present at this occasion.
Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardene says that institutions could be turned into profitable status even amidst challenges. He also says, and also difficulties as well, through the dedication and also the appropriate management. The minister made these observations during a special inspection tour which he made of the officers which have won the Work Evaluation Awards handed over in parallel to the 2023 World Common Transportation Day by the Ministry of Transport and Highways. Officials of the Pulanarua Depot, which has recorded the highest income, and also officials of the Rajarata Regional Unit, which has recorded the highest profit, were felicitated on this occasion. Minister Bandula Gunawarddene has expressed hope that the budget would extend allocations for the resumption of stalled development activities of the provinces from January next year, despite the gravity of the current economic crisis. The minister also said that the importance to understand comprehensively the seriousness of the existing financial problems. The crisis exemplifies the outcome of the country running for an extensive period without having an adequate income, even to fulfill the daily needs. The minister further says that therefore all citizens will have to make sacrifices even for a short time until the shortcomings are rejected.
Period Proud event organised by the Family Planning Association of Sri Lanka was held in Colombo yesterday. The event is on menstruation and period poverty, was hosted in collaboration with the Embassy of France in Sri Lanka. The event was focused on raising awareness on period poverty, which is a multifaceted issue faced by millions of menstruators across the world. Ambassador of France to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Jean-Francois Paquet, was the chief guest of the event. The event featured stalls promoting sustainable period product and creating awareness on menstruation and period poverty. A variety of creative performances, including a puppet show, a Bharatanatyam dance act, and a stage drama addressing the challenges and stigmas related to the menstrual health and period poverty, featured at the event. A panel discussion titled Navigating Menstrual Health in Sri Lanka was also held during the event. Sanitary pads under essential services and the need for more political involvement more than the civil society organizations were some of the issues which were discussed during the panel discussion.
I worked in government.
It's not going to kind of spread for all women there, and we need to do the capacity building.
Personal point of view, collective action shouldn't be limited to just
Period poverty is a matter of concern for all because it is a global issue. Some surveys would say that about 500 million people are impacted by period poverty in the world. And in France, period poverty is said to impact between 2 and 4 million people. And whatever the numbers are, it highlights that it is not a very well-researched topic, not a very well-known phenomenon, because it is linked with the taboo of periods, with that stigma present in every society. But period poverty has big consequences. Insufficient access to menstrual hygiene prevents equal access to health, education and employment of girls and women. As you know, France is very committed to gender equality. It is a priority of our diplomatic action. And this is the reason why we decided to partner with Sri Lanka on this very important issue.
And now moving on to the weather situation, the Met Department predicts an increase, that is, in the rainfall. In the next few days, public life has been adversely affected by the incessant rainfall. Well, a heavy fog condition prevails in these days in several locations in the Nuwara-Eliya-Badula main road. The police inform motorists to remain vigilant when driving. And here's a portion of the Helagidhiru village in Haldabulla, Nikaputta, which is reported to be sliding. Our correspondent says several of the houses of 75 families living in the village have collapsed. He further says that cracks have appeared in the earthen houses in many places where the landslides have taken place. An earth tremor was reported to have occurred in the Trincomalee district around 1:15 p.m. today. Geological and Mining Bureau says the Richter scale has recorded the strength of the tremor as 3.4. Residents of Trincomalee, Kantale, Morava and Gomarankada will report to have felt the impact of the incident. The Met Department reports of a disturbance in the lower atmosphere in the Bay of Bengal. It further says that, however, the disturbance is moving out of the island. Well, the attention of the Ministry of Ports and Shipping and Aviation Services has been focused on the commencement of several income-generating programs.
A special discussion on planning in this regard was held under the leadership of Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva at the ministry recently. The Sri Lanka Ports Authority is in a possession of 15% of the total shares of the Hambantota Harbour. However, the harbour has not incurred any profits. Therefore, the government has not received any income. It has also been pointed out that the COVID pandemic and the Sri Lanka's recent economic downturn were other factors that have contributed to the inability to have profits. Chief Executive Officer of the harbour has pointed out that a discussion that several existing problems with the Central Bank and the Board of Investment will have to be resolved in order to implement the new development programs at the Hambantota Harbour. The minister said that the Port Ministry will mediate for the speedy resolution of the problems. So far, the Hambantota Harbour operations were restricted to parking of imported vehicles and re-exporting them. The minister has expressed optimism over the exporting of containers with the aim of earning profits. He has also pointed out that the Hambantota and Colombo harbours act together to implement a program to attract a large number of naval craft operating in the Indian Ocean.
The Deputy Chief Digital Economy Officer of the Sri Lanka Information and Communication Technology Agency, Sachindra Samaratna, says steps have been taken to successfully construct a digital economy by fostering collaboration between public and also private sectors. He made these remarks while taking part in the 101 Katha program produced by the President's Media Division. ICTA Deputy Chief Digital Economy Officer Sachindra Samaratna says that the international investors consider a country's level of digitization when making investment decisions. He added that providing governmental backing for the advancement of the digital economy is crucial, and establishing an institution for this purpose could be beneficial. He said that, however, over the past decade, the organization has collaborated with the World Bank, leading to rapid growth in Sri Lanka's information technology industry. He pointed out that specific strategies are necessary and an institutional framework with budgetary support is crucial to implementing the digital economy policy. Sponsorship empowers the government and the private sectors, positioning Sri Lanka's economy for strength and growth.
Here's some local news in brief. A cab and a pedal cycle have clashed each other near the Jayantipura filling station on the Polonnaruwa-Colombo main road at dawn today. The cyclist was killed in the accident. Driver of the cab had fled. Investigations are underway to arrest the driver and another person. A ceremony to hand over letters of appointments to principals who have been recruited to grade 3 of the Sri Lanka Principal Service was held in Kandy recently. On this occasion, 835 appointments of principals to fill vacancies in schools in the Kandy, Nuwara and Matale districts have been taken place. Governor of the Central Province, Attorney-at-Law Lalit U. Gamage was also present. Minister Ramesh Patirina has agreed to provide solutions immediately within a period of 1 week to the problems of the students of the Faculty of Medicine of the Sabaragamu University. The minister has given this assurance upon a discussion with medical students at the Ratnapura Teaching Hospital yesterday. Villagers say that wild elephants are attacking and causing destructions in many villages in the Madaragiri Divisional Secretariat Division in the Polonnaruwa district. They point out that the most affected villages include Talakotuava and Kumudupura and Yaya 8. Carcass of 3 wild elephants shot in Suryapola in Kantale have been recovered. One of the dead elephants was a 6-year-old calf. Wildlife officials say search operations conducted in the vicinity have led to the detection of body parts of several other elephants as well.
Well, Director of the Dengue Control Unit, Consulting Physician Nalin Ariratna says that the tendency for the spread of dengue disease has increased with the onset of rain, which creates an environmental factors for mosquito breeding.
Dengue වගකීම අපේ අරමුණයි. ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය සමග මෝටින්. ඩෙන්ගු නැති හෙටක්.
ඩෙන්ගු මදුරුවාගේ ජීවන චක්‍රය ගත්තාම කිසිසේත්ම වර්ෂාපතනය සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ මදුරුවන් බෝධි වැඩි වීම සමග. පරිසර සාධක
Dr. Nalini Narayaratne expressed his views.
The final rites of the retired senior producer of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, the late Nalini Dharmaratne, was held in Paduka today. She served in the children's unit of the national television. She joined the national television as a program assistant for the first children's program of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Subsequently, she managed to become the producer of the same program within a short time span. She produced many programs for the national television, including Hurubuti and many other programs. She has secured many international and local awards for the national television. After serving for the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, she retired from the service in the year 2018. As a past student of Paduka's Siri Piyaratana School, late Nalini Dharmakirti was an outstanding student during her schooling days. She was 66 years of age at her demise. That's a look at local news. Stay with us. We'll come back with foreign stories.
Moving on to international stories, well, the hospitals in Gaza have been entangled with the conflict between Israel and the militant group Hamas. With the group and also local officials and also medical professionals reporting increased Israeli strikes at and also the near medical facilities as well, which are already depleting with resources.
The operations of the Al-Shifa Hospital, Gaza's biggest hospital complex, where thousands were injured and displaced people, are trapped, and ferocious bombardment have been suspended after it ran out of power and fuel. Israel's army in a statement indicated their willingness to evacuate babies from Gaza's largest hospital today. However, Palestinian officials said people inside were still trapped, with 2 newborns dead and dozens at risk from a power outage amid intense fighting nearby. Meanwhile, Gaza's second largest hospital, Al-Quds, is out of service, the Palestinian Red Crescent Society says. And in the meantime, a report has indicated that about 500 foreigners and dual nationals, as well as several other wounded Palestinians, have been evacuated from the Gaza Strip to Egypt.
Well, the chance of a volcanic eruption in the area of Iceland is rising, posing a threat to a now evacuated town, according to experts. Meanwhile, Iceland has declared a state of emergency after a series of earthquakes. Authorities have ordered thousands of people living in the southwestern parts of the country to leave as a precaution. The Icelandic Met Office said there was a considerable risk of an eruption. The probability of an eruption, or just a few, of the peninsula has increased since morning.
And on your sports news tonight, India, South Africa, Australia and New Zealand managed to qualify for the final 4 knockout stage of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023. The first semi-finals will be held on the 15th. The first semi-finals will be between India and New Zealand. The match will be played at Wankhede Stadium on the 15th. The second semi-finals will be between Australia and South Africa. The match will be played on the 16th. The finals will be played on the 19th at Ahmedabad Stadium. Meanwhile, Australia and England managed to secure wins in the matches yesterday. That's it. That's a look at Rupavahini News for tonight. Together with Clifford Richards, I'm Shara Mascarenas, wishing you a very pleasant week.